guys. Hope everybody's doing well. We obviously starting spring practice on Monday next week, so we're excited about that. And we've been at it hard and heavy, I think, the last couple of months. Coach Nico and his staff have done a really good job, obviously, in the winter program, developing guys in the weight room and on the field. And first winter we've had our brand new facility, which has been unbelievable to have that this winter because it's been a cold winter. And so we haven't missed a beat when it comes to training. Today we just went over all the guys individually today, all the things that they've been able to accomplish this winter with weight gains, strength gains, as well as speed. It's always an exciting time to see the guys continue to develop. Now the next part of developing will be the football aspect, and that'll start next week on Monday, where we'll get 3 practices in before spring break, have a little break there, and then come back and really get after it for about a month. So a lot of things that we're looking forward to this spring, a lot of things we want to try to get out of it. Obviously a new defense coordinator, Coach Woody, so a new scheme with that. So trying to install that, we'll take that slow, making sure the guys get a great foundation with that. And also for us, trying to find out what's the best positions for some of these guys to play within the scheme. And, trying to find some pass rusher guys can get after the quarterback. Certainly will be a change, from the last 2 years, trying to get after the quarterback. And then in the back end, we've got a lot of new guys in the back end. And so to be able to see where they play the best. And so I'm excited about that. And obviously offensively, continue to develop. I thought we had a really good year last year offensively, one of the top in the country offensively. And now we've got some new pieces to that. I'm excited about what those guys will be able to do as well. It's been fun to see so far. And, that's some of the things we'll be able to do in the spring is evaluating that offensively as well. Who's our playmakers, who's the guys that can do things running back wise and receiver wise.
I know the original thought on doing a week before spring break and then having a week off and then coming back so you could kind of get a feel for things. And how much more important is it this year with so much new on both sides of the ball that you get 3 days of tape and then a week to, I assume you're not going to like Panama City Beach or anything for spring break, but you get a week to kind of break down the tape and see what you got.
I think it's obviously football has changed a lot over the last 2-3 years. So, we've obviously been evaluating our guys these first 2 months and seeing movement skills and seeing what they can do. Guys, the quarterbacks and receivers have been throwing this winter. So you're able to, get a little glimpse of some things that they're doing. But once you start actual football, we're putting a helmet on, we're actually doing some football stuff. We got to evaluate every day. We got to, really go through it, grade it, figure out what they can do, can't do. So the first 2 days will be just helmets. So really, you don't have any shoulder pads. I'm not a huge fan of those days. But Friday will be a good day for us. We put some shoulder pads on. But you go back and we're going to watch those 3 practices, evaluate that, see if we need to change, move some guys around when they come back from spring break. Because when we come back from spring break, we'll have a couple of days where we're just running them and getting them back, knocking the spring break out of them before we actually start practicing. So, we try to spread it out. You get your 3 days, and then, that last month when you get back. It's just all about evaluation and continuing to develop.
How does the co-offensive coordinator situation work? A lot of places do this, but are they constantly in your head before you call? It doesn't seem like there's a first and second down coordinator and a third down coordinator because you may run on third down, you may pass on first down. So I'm just trying to.
I often thought that was pretty funny if you had a run game, pass game. Hey, we're going to pass it. Give me a play. Pass game coordinator.
Right.
We're going to run it. Hey, give me the.
Well, when they describe it on TV like that, it sounds pretty cut and dried,
like.
But it's got to be crazy.
I think it's more so like Coach Carwell and Coach Thomas have been with me for a long time, but for them, they're the leaders of the offense, and so much of that is every day in the offseason. Like, so what we've been doing now, we've had some unit meetings where they run the meeting. They're setting the tone for what the offense wants to be this year, and expectations, and in a lot of different aspects, and how we do things. How we take the field, how we come off the field, and then how we do all our things offensively. So they're the leaders of that, and so. Those guys do a great job of working hand in hand, coming up with that plan, and then presenting that plan to the offensive players. Unit meetings, and that transfers to position meetings. Also, when we're looking at our installation for the spring, You know, they got a huge input. Like, what do we need to put in the run game or in the passing game? You know, so it's just really, it's the leadership aspect of that. Those guys have earned that right to be the coordinators of the offense, and they do a great job of bringing everybody together. So really what that entails is not necessarily just, you know, run game, pass game, or that. It's really just leaders of the offense. They're setting the tone that's going to filter down to the players, and there's a standard of play that we have offensively, and they're setting that expectations with their guys.
You had some coaches shuffling around on the defensive side of the ball. What kind of went into that decision, and also specifically with David Rowe about him kind of switching to safeties after being hired to coach corner?
Well, you know, we hired Rowe, then we made a deep coordinator change there, and so, you know, really getting with Coach Woody. You know, the thing about it is we want to put our coaches and our players in the best places we can be the best, whatever that is. You know, Coach Rowe can handle the whole secondary. So, you know, we hired him as a coach in the corners. You know, now let's say we felt like it was going to be best to move him to safeties, but he's still, you know, obviously overseeing a lot of things in the secondary. There's a lot of eyes on those positions defensively, which I really like. You know, it's like, you know, if you got one coach that coaches 4 guys, how can you really see this corner and that corner on the field at the same time during practice and give them feedback? No. So what we're now, you know, you got 2 or 3 different coaches back there that have eyes on guys where we can give feedback immediately right after the rep. Hey, you guys came back, you know, or they come off the sideline, and you get to tell them right now what you saw and what you need to get better at. It's like that at every position on the defense. You know, Coach Woody has a good opportunity now within defensive staff meetings to tell them and set a tone of what he's looking for and what he wants from each position, and how they do their meetings. I mean, how they set up their meetings. And he's very detail oriented in how he sets this defense up. And we're just trying to put the best coaches in those best spots to enhance our defense. And then how they teach our players. There's so many little details that go into it defensively in this defense, and how we fit the defense, and, you know, where your alignment's supposed to be, and where you're going to force the ball carrier, and where the guys need to be there to make plays. So there's a lot of things that go into it. You know, it's been awesome to have Coach Woody here. Obviously, we worked with him for many years at App State, and to get him back here, it's fun to see, man. It's fun. It's going, you know, I'm excited about getting out there practicing and going against him. It's going to be slow putting the defense in. He just got here, you know, really base, really vanilla. And then as we go throughout spring, expand on that and start adding a lot more wrinkles to it. The thing I like about this defense is there's a lot of different things we can do, a lot of different wrinkles. We want to get after the quarterback. We want to cause havoc to the offense, and there's a lot of different ways we can do that. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see, and excited about it. But they're working well together defensively. Their staff, everybody's got their roles within the defensive staff, and it's been very encouraging.
Scott, what is the key in your mind? You have an offensive mind, obviously, an offensive background, to onboarding at least 2 new quarterbacks, and how is that competition in your mind going to unfold?
Yeah, you know, again, we talked about this earlier, but college football is so unique in the last couple of years now. Everybody's got brand new teams when you hit January, and particularly now where, you know, we had the one portal, so you're getting all your guys in here in January. So now, you know, we had 22 transfers and 14 new high school guys that showed up in January, so 36 brand new players throughout the team. And how quickly can you get them on board? And, you know, it starts with just teaching them the basic stuff that we have in our offense, terminology. Like a guy like J.C. French, I mean, he's thrown vertical routes, he's thrown, you know, a smash concept. He's done a lot of our concepts, but how do we teach it? How do we call it? What are we looking for? All those things, and that's, you know, Coach Thomas has worked with the quarterbacks now since they've been here, and installing all that, trying to get them caught up as quickly as possible, because, you know, we know they're going to come out, they're going to make some mistakes. We've got to get that corrected for the next practice, and those, you know, so forth. But I think we have high expectations for all our guys, you know. But you know, Liam and JC come in. They've both played a lot. They got a lot of experience, which is good. They'll take that experience and take it with them here. You know, Samaj, I think, you know, having played in the bowl game, it gave him a lot of confidence. He's had a great offseason as well. Brooks is a true freshman coming in here, just learning. You know, so we're going to throw it all at them, and really just kind of see what sticks, but be efficient in what we're doing. That so far they've done a great job of learning it. They're smart guys. You know, we haven't played anything with the football yet, so it's hard to know because so much of quarterback play is decision making. They all got the talent, but how quickly can you decide what you need to do, and then how can you get it done? Making the throw, making the right read, and or running the ball.
Is your idea, just to follow up on that, to keep the system mostly the same and have them fit into it, their skill set? Or will you try to, I think you've done this in the past, kind of adapt your system to what they do?
Yeah, I think certainly we have a system. I thought, again, last year I thought our offense was really good, but what these guys do probably going to be a little bit different than what Sorsby did that well. So we're going to find out what these guys can do well. Let's do that. I'm not, I don't certainly want to be, hey, this is what we're doing. You guys got to learn how to do this. No, to me, we're going to inside run, outside zone. We're going to run those plays or play action. But what is their great skill set, and let's do that. And so I think that remains to be seen. We'll see what they can do, can't do, figure it out. I'm sure we're going to tweak some things, obviously, on offense. But I liked how efficient we were last year. We took care of the football. We were efficient in a lot of aspects of football games offensively. But, again, we got brand new receivers, a ton of them out there that are brand new running backs. We got Zion back, but everybody else is new. So. And it's at every position, so we got a lot of different skill sets, man. We got some talent. Excited about working with these guys. Let's see what they can do and try to put them in the best position.
New defense, will be a 3-4. Do you see any guys that you might see standing up, and then some guys maybe handing the dirt? Vice versa in the secondary, as far as guys maybe that line up at safety, then they can see them in a slot. Do you see kind of that versatility? I know without pass, it's hard to kind of pinpoint that, but do you kind of have some people circled, maybe they can do multiple things?
Yeah, I think we got several guys that can do multiple things, and I think that's what the spring is going to be about. It's hard to sit here and say, hey, this guy's going to play this position. We can't say that, I think these guys got a lot of great skill sets, and try to figure out, and a lot of it's going to be, hey, on 1st and 10, who's our best 11 out there? On 3rd and 8, who's our best 11? So that may be different. That may be 5 different guys. We don't know yet. So to me, we have a lot of guys to work with. You guys are going to talk to Zach here in a little bit, but I thought we brought some really good guys in to help the defensive side of the ball, particularly in the secondary, with a lot of different skill sets. MJ Cannon's a guy that's kind of stood out to me. I think he's a guy who can play 4 positions. He can play corner. He can play our what we're calling our cat position, which is the Sam linebacker position, and both safeties. He's 210 pounds and 6'3", can run. So I think he's a great deal of versatility. There's several guys like that I think within the secondary could play safety, could play corner, could play the boundary safety. Mook Sims, a guy. Hey, we're going to look at him off the edge. Coming off the edge, he's got great size. I think he's pushing 6'3", 238 right now. So here's a guy that can come off the edge, try to get, put some pressure on the quarterback. Miles is another guy that we're going to try to look on the edge there. I think Parker's a guy who's it's time to be a dude now. As an edge defensive end type, he's around 278 now, and strong, good point of attack on the edge. Cam Rutherford's a guy who I think, man, he hasn't played much for us in 2 years he's been here, but he could be a huge factor in our D-line. I think we got some good guys, man. I'm excited about seeing what they're saying in this new scheme.
You had 2 guys go through on-field workouts at the combine, 4 guys there total. What was it like to see those 2 guys showcase their skills, especially Jeff running that 4.31?
You know what? Those 2 guys that participated, I'm not surprised at all. We knew. I think we even mentioned this probably to you guys a few times with Caldwell. We knew his numbers last year would have been one of the top of the combines. He came out cold one day and brought 11.2 last year. He ran his 10-yard start in the 40 last winter was as fast as anybody in the combine. So we knew he was going to do that. I don't think anybody else really knew, but I thought in Golday, we all kind of knew that as well. Both of those guys, are freak athletes. They have great size. They have ability to run and jump, and it wasn't surprising. It's awesome to see. We love it. Because sometimes you go in a setting like that, that's some nerve, whatever may kick, and so those guys, man, it's so awesome to see. And we got our pro day coming up here very soon, and I think some of these other guys will work out and they'll do some really good things. Joe's going to test well also. I mean, they'll be able to showcase what they can do, in our facility whenever we have our pro day. So I think all those guys, they're great people. Number one, which is what you want. They're coachable. At the next level, they'll get the most out of these guys. Man, I still think, like, you mentioned Golden and Caldwell, their best football is ahead of them. Like, I wish we had Caldwell. I mean, it'd be awesome to have another year in college so he can continue to develop and translate his testing to the football field. But I think certainly his best ball is ahead of him, and Golden continues to get better each and every year. And man, he's going to be somebody's going to get a great player in him. So I'm excited for those guys, and hopefully we'll have many of our guys named, called whenever the draft happens. It's going to be awesome.
Final two, Chad and Scott.
Do you ever sit at home and draw up plays for your defensive tackle on the goal line?
I mean, now sometimes I think about it late in the bed. Hey, we put, who's some good athletes with some size? Let's put them in the backfield and make some plays happen. So, but I think that's always the case. I think you're always trying to find some way, short yards, goal line. What kind of package can we put in there to get in the end zone? So, yeah.
Not many teams have a guy that's 340 pounds to play.
That played running back. I know. He yesterday or whatever day it was this week, we ran starts, 10 and 20 yard starts, and he had a really good time. And I said, how much you weigh? And he's like 339. I was like, dang. I said, because he was rolling. So yeah, he's got. I mean, you could tell at some point he got some twitch in there now, and really excited about him. As a D lineman, you got somebody with that kind of size. And he'll continue to work on his weight, because I think if we do get him down a little bit, 330, 325, he's going to be that much quicker. But he can move, for a guy that size. So you certainly could see that he had some ability to play running back. Just got a little bit too big for it.
All right, you had some guys on the freak list last year. You maybe mentioned one right there. Who are this year's freaks? And can I sneak another one in? How important is it to see these young men wearing socks now up to their of all the NCAA legislation, that seemed a bit silly, so you don't have to comment.
Well, I think, we'll certainly have some guys that could be candidates for free. I mean, to me, just MJ Cannon just kind of stands out to me, who's a guy who's probably 6'3", 6'3 and a half, 210, can run, jump. I mean, he played corner, he played safety, he played Sam. They brought him off. He did everything for BG, and I think he could do that for us as well. Great person, good personality, plays with poise, savvy, and has that size and speed. He could be one of those guys for sure. And then we got some other guys too. We went over all those guys today, and I'm like, man, that's some great numbers and some guys that can really do some good things this year. As far as that goes, as far as the uniform stuff, man, we've been dealing with that rule for years. I mean, for a long time. And you go play some teams, and some referees will allow the guys to have their shorts, like short Daisy Duke type shorts, like short shorts. Like, I saw a kicker last year, like literally, I mean, it was almost Speedo, out there trying to kick. So, I mean, they're just trying to make it more uniform. It's so hard for these referees to try to, enforce that rule and not play guys. So, to cover up the skin. So, what will happen, I think, there'll be a lot of tights. The guys are just going to wear tights. Probably still wear some short socks, but the tights will cover up the skin. I think if this passes, that'll probably be what
NFL fines these guys. They're getting paid, so why not fines?
Yeah, that's certainly a good idea there, Scott. Start fining them.
Cool, thank you.
Good comment.
All right.